really, if a team is, I guess, juggling more than 2 or 3 streams of work, you probably need to divide that team, because if there's more than 2 or 3 streams of important work, those streams of important work are the exact basis around which you form teams, because there's something important worth doing and owning and pushing forward. One thing that Canva has always done well, and I suppose I've sort of learned and inherited through that, is just having really tight, lean squads. And so even on the product side, as well as the growth side, we tend to have quite small, lean growth squads that have a clear vision and mission and direction and purpose. And so we've sort of started out by just having one team, this Canva Pro or Canva for Work growth team. And the mission in those early days was just, how can we grow the number of pro trials? We were lean. And so the metric that's always easiest to move and quickest to move when you're lean is trials, because it's a lot of sort of top of funnel, front end only type stuff. As you get further down the subscription funnel to churn and stuff like that, the things that tend to move the needle on voluntary churn and delinquent churn tend to be like bigger, more involved projects, like huge new feature launches or massive payment infrastructure upgrades that increase the quality of your payments. And so when you just have a front end or a designer and me with my spreadsheets, you tend to just focus on, right, well, how can we maybe, as I mentioned earlier, like add a new path within the product that's pretty quick. As we scaled up, just making sure that the teams we were creating had a real purpose and a really clear, I think, North Star. So the second team we added on to the group was this billing team. And so that team had a number of existing, like, pretty heavy responsibilities: keep Canva's billing infrastructure up and make sure all our payments go through. And like that in its own is a very, very noble role. But we also wanted to add on a growth component. So we had to obviously look at that team and the amount of streams of work and, just do some basic sort of capacity planning. And we quickly realized this team needs to be, without splitting the atom, this team needs to be like 3 times the size as quickly as you bloody can get there.
Well, let's just quickly talk about like the growth squads. I liked lean squads, right? Like, how large is the ideal size of a lean growth squad?
Oh God, there's loads.
Have you figured that out yet, or is it still an internal push and pull? Just based on capacities.
I think in the old world pre-COVID, it's the amount of people that can get in a small meeting room and have a productive chat, right? There's sort of 5 or 6 plus or minus a few maybe, but really, if a team is, I guess, juggling more than 2 or 3 streams of work, you probably need to divide that team, because if there's more than 2 or 3 streams of important work, those streams of important work are the exact basis around which you form teams, because there's something important worth doing and owning and pushing forward. That billing team, I think, was an example of that. It became like keep the lights on, then it became keep the lights on plus do growth. Keep the lights on plus do growth plus expand internationally with new payment methods. Then keep the lights on plus do growth plus new payment methods plus deal with like chargebacks and refunds and disputes. And so that is now, like, zooming forward to today, for example, just to sort of illustrate that growth journey, that set of teams is now a subgroup within Canva Pro of 5 teams and about 25 people alone. And so looking after sort of 5 or 6 really key pillars of billing related work at Canva.
Okay, so then like in terms of your team then of 60, is that like 10 squads? Or 7 to 10 squads? Is that kind of like how the team is structured?
Yeah, it's actually 3 subgroups. And then within the subgroups collectively, I think there's 14 teams.